Welcome to my channel English Speaking. I want to begin today with something honest, something that I think you have felt many times but maybe never said out loud. You watch an English video and you understand it. You read an English sentence and the meaning is clear. You listen to a conversation and you follow every word. But then someone turns to you and says, "Your turn, speak," and everything disappears. The words you understood 1 second ago are suddenly gone. Your mouth opens and nothing comes out. Or something comes out, but it feels wrong, slow, disconnected from what you actually wanted to say. That feeling, that specific, frustrating, painful feeling, that is what we are talking about today. And before we go any further, I want to say something directly to you. If that is your experience, you are not broken. You are not behind. You are not less intelligent than people who speak English easily. You are experiencing something that almost every English learner goes through. And today, we are going to understand exactly why it happens. And more importantly, exactly what to do about it. But first, I want to invite you to be part of this community. If you are not yet subscribed to English Speaking, please subscribe right now. Every week on this channel, we publish new lessons, new stories, and new speaking practice sessions designed for real English learners who want to stop understanding and start speaking. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and never miss a new session. This channel is here every week with content designed to be your daily English companion. And I have a question for you. Has listening to English daily on this channel helped your practice? Has it made speaking feel a little more natural? Write your answer in the comments below, even one sentence, even just yes or no with a few words, because your experience helps other learners know that this works. And your English deserves to be seen. Now, let us talk about the real reason you understand English but cannot speak it. I want you to imagine something. Imagine you have watched swimming videos for 1 year. You have watched professional swimmers move through the water. You have studied their arm movements, their breathing, their technique. You understand how swimming works. You could explain it to someone. You could describe every part of the process, but then someone leads you to a pool and says, "Now swim," and you step into the water and realize something immediately. Understanding swimming and being able to swim are two completely different things. That is exactly what is happening with your English. Understanding and speaking are not the same skill. They are not even the same type of activity. Understanding is passive. Your brain receives information and processes it. Speaking is active. Your brain produces information, finds the right words, puts them in the right order, sends signals to your mouth, and coordinates all of that in real time under the pressure of another person waiting for your response. When you watch English videos, you are developing your passive skill. You are becoming an excellent receiver of English. Your listening comprehension grows. Your recognition vocabulary grows. You begin to feel comfortable inside English. All of that is real and valuable progress. But passive receiving does not automatically become active producing. The gap between understanding and speaking is not filled by more understanding. It is filled by speaking, by using your voice, by making your mouth practice the physical movement of English words and sentences under real conditions. I sit with this idea for a moment every time I feel frustrated about my own learning. I remind myself, understanding is one room. Speaking is a different room. And the only way to enter the speaking room is through the door. And the door is practice. Daily practice. Using my actual voice out loud in real sentences. Say this with me right now. Understanding is not speaking. Speaking is a different skill. I will practice speaking every day. Say it. Understanding is not speaking. Speaking is a different skill. I will practice speaking every day. Good. That is not just a sentence. That is the most important thing you will hear today. Now, I want to go deeper, because there is another reason why the gap between understanding and speaking feels so wide. And this reason is more psychological than it is linguistic. It is about fear. And fear is one of the most underestimated forces in language learning. When you are listening to English, there is no risk. You can be wrong about what a word means and nobody knows. You can misunderstand a sentence and simply rewind. You are safe. But when you speak, you are visible. Your mistakes are audible. Other people can hear every imperfect word, every hesitation, every moment where your English does not quite reach what you wanted to say. And for many learners, that visibility is terrifying. I remember standing in my room once, alone, trying to practice speaking English out loud. There was nobody there. Nobody was listening. And I still felt embarrassed. My voice sounded strange to me in English. My sentences sounded slower than I wanted them to be. I felt like a child trying to do something that adults do easily. And even in that completely private moment, fear was there. That fear is not weakness. That fear is a normal human response to the vulnerability of being a beginner in a new skill. But here is what I learned. Fear does not go away by thinking about it. Fear goes away by doing the thing you are afraid of, again and again, until the thing feels normal. The first time you speak English, it feels strange. The 10th time, it feels a little less strange. The 100th time, something has shifted. Your voice is more comfortable in English. Your sentences come a little faster. The fear has not disappeared completely, but it has become quieter, and you have become louder. So today, we are going to practice, together, right now. And the first practice is the simplest possible thing. Say this. I am learning English. Say it. I am learning English. Good. Now say it again like you believe it. I am learning English. One more time with your real voice. I am learning English. That was speaking. That was your voice producing English. That was the skill you are building. And it begins exactly there. One sentence spoken aloud. One small act of using your voice instead of only your ears. Now let me tell you about the 3 main reasons why the gap between understanding and speaking stays so wide for most learners. And I want to go through each one slowly, because when you understand the problem clearly, the solution becomes obvious. The first reason is this. You have been building input without building output. Input means English coming into your brain through listening and reading. Output means English going out of your brain through speaking and writing. Most learners spend almost all of their time on input. They watch videos, they read texts, they listen to podcasts. Input, 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 but very little time on output, very little time actually producing English with their own voice. And the result is exactly what you feel. A brain full of English that has never learned how to let it out. Think about water in a container. If you keep pouring water in but never create a way for water to come out, the water just sits there. It does not become useful. It does not flow. Input without output is exactly like that. English enters your brain but has nowhere to go. The solution is to create output, to practice letting the English out every day, even for 5 minutes, even in simple sentences. Even alone in your room, let the English out. Give your brain a way to produce what it has received. Practice with me right now. I am going to give you input, and I want you to create output immediately. Listen to this. A woman walks into a coffee shop in the morning. She feels tired. She orders a coffee and sits near the window. She watches the street outside. She thinks about her day. Now, close your eyes for a moment. Imagine that woman. Then open your eyes and describe her to me. Out loud. In your own words. Go. Maybe you said something like, she is tired. She sits at the window. She drinks coffee. She looks outside. That is output. Simple, clear, real output. Your brain received the input and produced something new from it. That is the skill you are building. The second reason why understanding does not become speaking is this. You have been processing English intellectually instead of physically. When you listen to English, your brain does the work. It finds the meaning. It understands the grammar. It connects the vocabulary, but your mouth does nothing. Your tongue does nothing. Your breath does nothing. The physical mechanism of speaking is completely uninvolved. And speaking is physical. It requires your mouth to know the shape of English words. It requires your breath to support English sounds. It requires your tongue and lips to move in specific ways that are different from your first language. And those physical movements only develop through physical practice, through actually saying the words out loud, with your voice, with your breath, with your mouth moving. This is why shadowing is one of the most powerful techniques for closing the gap between understanding and speaking. Shadowing means you listen to English and repeat it immediately, not after a pause, immediately, like an echo. You copy the words, the rhythm, the speed, the feeling. Let us practice shadowing right now. I will say a sentence. You repeat it immediately. The morning is quiet and calm. Repeat. The morning is quiet and calm. I feel more confident every day. Repeat. I feel more confident every day. My English is getting better because I practice. Repeat. My English is getting better because I practice. I do not need perfect English to start. I only need to start. Repeat. I do not need perfect English to start. I only need to start. Every sentence I speak makes me stronger. Repeat. Every sentence I speak makes me stronger. Now say all 5 in a row, without stopping. The morning is quiet and calm. I feel more confident every day. My English is getting better because I practice. I do not need perfect English to start. I only need to start. Every sentence I speak makes me stronger. Feel that. Feel how your mouth moved through those sentences. Feel how the second time through they came a little more easily. That ease is physical memory beginning to form. Your mouth is learning the shape of those sentences. That is exactly what you need. The third reason why understanding does not become speaking is this. You wait for the right moment to speak, and the right moment never comes. Many learners say, I will speak English when I feel ready, when my vocabulary is bigger, when my grammar is stronger, when I feel more confident, when I have a conversation partner, when I travel to an English-speaking country. When the conditions are perfect, but the conditions are never perfect, and readiness does not arrive before practice. Readiness arrives from practice. You do not become ready and then speak. You speak and then become ready. That sequence feels backwards, but it is the truth. I speak to myself every morning now. While I am making tea, I describe what I am doing in English. I boil the water. The kettle is making noise. I take a cup from the shelf. I pour the tea slowly. The steam rises. The tea smells good. I sit down at the table. Those sentences are simple. They are not impressive. Nobody is listening to them. But every morning those sentences are building something inside me. They are building the habit of English output. The habit of my brain turning thoughts into spoken English automatically, without waiting, without preparation, without the conditions being perfect. Your task starting today is this: speak English for 5 minutes every day, not study, not listen. Speak out loud with your real voice about anything, about what you are doing, about what you see around you, about how you feel, about what happened yesterday, about what you want tomorrow. 5 minutes every day, starting today. Now let me teach you something practical that will help you immediately. I call it the narration habit, and it is exactly what it sounds like. You narrate your life in English as it happens. You wake up and you say, "I open my eyes. The room is dark. I feel sleepy. My alarm is loud. I want to sleep more, but I get up. I sit on the edge of my bed. I take a deep breath. Good morning." You go to the kitchen and you say, "I walk to the kitchen. I open the fridge. I see milk and eggs and fruit. I take out 2 eggs. I put them in the pan. The pan is hot. The eggs begin to cook. They smell good." You go outside and you say, "I step outside. The air is cold this morning. The street is quiet. I can see my breath. I walk toward the bus stop. My shoes make a sound on the pavement." These narrations do not need to be perfect. They do not need to be impressive. They need to be consistent. Every day, every morning, every small action of your real life narrated quietly in English. Because here is what happens when you do this consistently for 2 weeks, for 1 month, for 3 months. Your brain learns to connect English directly to experience. Not English translated from your first language. English born from the experience itself. English that arrives with the moment, not after a detour through translation. And that direct connection between experience and English is what fluency actually is. Not a huge vocabulary, not perfect grammar. The direct connection between your real life and the English words that describe it. Let me give you more sentences to practice narrating. Say each one after me, slowly and clearly. I open the window. The morning air comes inside. It smells fresh. I look at the sky. There are clouds today. Maybe it will rain later. Say those. I open the window. The morning air comes inside. It smells fresh. I look at the sky. There are clouds today. Maybe it will rain later. Now continue the narration yourself. What comes next in your morning? What do you do? Say it out loud. Even 2 or 3 sentences. Even simple ones. Your narration. Your English. Your voice. Now I want to address something that comes up every time learners try to speak more. And that thing is the fear of making mistakes. Because many learners stop themselves before they even begin because they are afraid of saying something wrong. I want to change how you think about mistakes completely. Starting right now. A mistake is not evidence that your English is bad. A mistake is evidence that your English is active. You cannot make a mistake in English if you are not using English. The mistake proves you tried. And trying is the only thing that produces improvement. Think about a child learning to walk. The child falls again and again, every single day. Does the child sit on the floor and decide that walking is too difficult? Does the child wait until they can walk perfectly before trying again? No. The child gets up every time and tries again. Because the child understands instinctively what we sometimes forget as adults. Falling is not the opposite of walking. Falling is part of learning to walk. Your English mistakes are your falls, and your falls are your lessons, and your lessons are your progress. So here are some phrases to use when you make a mistake in a real English conversation. Instead of going silent, use one of these. Let me try that again. Say it. Let me try that again. I know what I mean, but I am finding the right word. Say it. I know what I mean, but I am finding the right word. Sorry, let me say that differently. Say it. Sorry, let me say that differently. What I wanted to say was, say it. What I wanted to say was, I am still learning, but I will keep going. Say it. I am still learning, but I will keep going. Those 5 phrases keep you in the conversation when your English stumbles. They signal to the other person that you are engaged, that you care, that you are not giving up, and they give you the seconds you need to find your words. Practice them until they are automatic. Because when fear comes, you will not have time to think. You will only have time to say them. Now, I want to give you something specific to practice every day this week. A routine so simple that you can start it today. A routine that will begin closing the gap between the English you understand and the English you can speak. In the morning, before you look at your phone, before you check messages or social media, before you begin the noise of the day, say 5 English sentences out loud about the morning, about how you feel, about what you see around you, about what you plan to do today. 5 sentences with your real voice. I wake up slowly. My room is quiet. I feel a little tired. Today I will practice English. I am ready to begin. Say those. I wake up slowly. My room is quiet. I feel a little tired. Today I will practice English. I am ready to begin. Those 5 sentences every morning are not just practice. They are a statement. They tell your brain that English is part of your day now, not separate from your day. Part of it. And when English becomes part of your daily life, not something you do in a special study session, but something you live inside every morning, the gap between understanding and speaking begins to close. It does not close overnight. Nothing real does, but it closes. Day by day, morning by morning, 5 sentences at a time. And one day, you will be in a real conversation and a sentence will arrive in your mouth before you had time to be afraid of it, before you had time to translate it, before you had time to second guess it. It will just come, naturally, automatically, as if it was always there. That is what you are building, 1 sentence at a time, 1 morning at a time. 1 brave small moment at a time. During your day, use the narration habit. Describe small actions in English as you do them, quietly, even just in your mind at first. I walk to the kitchen. I open the door. The street is busy today. I feel tired, but I keep going. Connect English to every ordinary moment of your ordinary day. And in the evening, before you sleep, say 3 sentences in English about your day. What happened? How you felt? What you will do tomorrow? 3 sentences. Out loud. Softly. In the quiet of your room before rest. Today was a long day. I practiced English in the morning. Tomorrow, I will do it again. Say those. Today was a long day. I practiced English in the morning. Tomorrow, I will do it again. That is your system. Morning sentences, daily narration, evening reflection. Simple, consistent, real, and over time, transformative. I want to close today with something I need you to really hear. You have spent a long time building your understanding of English. You have worked hard. You have dedicated real time and real effort. And that understanding is valuable. It is the foundation. It is the listening library your brain will draw from when you speak. But now, it is time to build the other side. The speaking side. The production side. The side where your English stops living only inside your head and begins living out in the world, in your voice, in your conversations, in your daily life. You do not need to be fluent to start. You only need to start. And starting means opening your mouth. Today, now, with the simplest sentence you know, and then saying another one, and another, and another. Subscribe to English Speaking right now if you have not already. Every week, this channel brings you new content designed to be your daily English companion. New stories, new conversations, new practice sessions. Content that meets you where you are and walks with you toward where you want to be. Turn on notifications so every new session finds you, because daily listening is the foundation of daily speaking. And this channel will be here every day of your journey. And leave a comment below right now. Tell me one English sentence about your morning today. Just one. What did you do when you woke up? What did you see? How did you feel? Write it. Put your English into the world. Let this community see your voice, because every sentence you write publicly is a small act of courage. And courage, practiced daily, becomes confidence. And confidence becomes speaking. And speaking becomes fluency. Your English is waiting for you to let it out. Open your mouth, take a breath, and begin. I will see you in the next session.